artistic technique of David Mack. And just for your information, because we like to go over the tools, what kind of inks, what kind of brushes do you use?
This is a Pentel brush pen, and it has a little Japanese symbol on the front that's worn off that you can tell it by, but it says Pentel, and it's very handy, and it comes in cartridges that you can refill, but once I run out, I tend to not refill them, and I just dip them in ink. I can get more ink on it that way. I don't know exactly which ink is in here at this moment because I tend to just keep refilling it for portability.
Now, a question I meant to ask you the last time you were doing your artistic process here, did you do a lot of practice with calligraphy?
I'm practicing right now on camera. Yeah, I had a really close friend of mine, I guess we were friends from about 20 years ago, who was a Chinese calligrapher named Andy Lee, and he used to live at my house and share a studio together. And he did most of his work with like large Chinese calligraphy brushes and ink. And so, yeah, we kind of learned a lot from each other, you know, sharing a lot of the same space and time together.
Yeah. It's just an incredible process and a real joy and pleasure to watch one of your pieces of art will just come out on the page like that. It seems so effortless.
Thanks, man. You know, a lot of the times I don't really have it figured out. It's kind of a surprise to me most of the time what's going to happen. You know, a lot of it's just really a collaboration, you know, with the materials. You know,
so it's kind of like you're not necessarily in control of the ink, but you also don't let it dictate where you're going to go on the picture as well.
I like to think we're maybe dancing together or collaborating.
Well, that's a good analogy. Who's usually in the lead?
You know, sometimes it goes the way that you think it might, and sometimes you're pleasantly surprised, and then sometimes it forces your mind to think of a different kind of solution, you know. It's not coming out the way that you're intending it to. But that's kind of the fun of, you know, drawing directly with brush and ink. For fun, I tend to do that a lot. I tend to draw from life, you know, from live humans in front of me, but just drawing directly.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the updates on your page, and I even went ahead and bid on the Amanda Palmer piece that you had up there.
Yeah. And
it's just a real nice, fluid style.
Oh, thanks.
Incredible, and just incredible to watch and incredible to see. Here's a question. When you do everything all the time, you're always doing something, where do you find the time to accomplish the projects? You're flying here, you're flying there, you're driving around, you've got shows, you've got naked women parties, you got things you're doing. You're a busy man. Where do you find the time to knock out the books on a regular basis?
Well, the conventions are only on the weekends, usually. So I do conventions. You know, I try to only do one a month, but sometimes it's like twice a month on the weekends, and then, you know, the rest of the week I'm working nonstop on things, and including in the airplane rides. It's a perfect time to do a lot of writing on the airplane, or often I'll be laying out covers or pages while I'm in the airplane. You know, it gives you a time to not be distracted, you know, from phones or anything else. You're just kind of held captive in this chair, so you just have to think about, you know, it gives you opportunity to work out some things.
When you're at home at the studio, and this is just for the artwork purpose, what are you using for inspiration when you're drawing?
Well, usually when I'm drawing at a studio, it's for a story. So, you know, there's a lot to think about in terms of, you know, what the themes of the story are and what you're trying to accomplish with the story. So that's kind of why when I'm just for fun, I just tend to do a very spontaneous brush and ink drawing, you know, of people, because it gives you, you know, someone to sort of connect to and collaborate with, in a sense, if you're drawing from someone right there.
Well, that's understandable, but it is, I think, at least from what I've seen, in contrast to your work on the Dexter series.
Right.
because that one looks much more controlled, much more, like the character from the show.
Yeah.
How do you go about trying to develop that control for something that is supposed to look, that does look different than your normal work?
Every project I'm doing, I'm thinking it's a story first, so I'm just trying to develop a look for it that I feel like is the most supportive for what the story is. And the Dexter thing, the likeness of the character is kind of a priority for it. So yeah, I do spend a lot of time trying to make it actually look like the characters for that show.
What are your musical influences and film influence, if in fact you do have them in the background while doing artwork?
I almost always do work to music, or what I like to listen to is, I like to have films on that I don't have to look at, so I can listen to them. So biographies and documentaries are great for that. And what I do a lot of the time is put on a film commentary, so I can listen to the director and writer's creative choices talking about what they put into the film, while I'm doing my work. And it's just kind of a very conversational tone, so it feels like you're kind of connected to humanity, but you're also getting a sense of kind of a creative zone that they're coming from.
And just like that, you've garnered a large crowd around your table. David Mack, as always, it's wonderful watching you do your artwork.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for your time,
Thanks so much.
and enjoy seeing you each show.